Hi, everyone. My name is Bridget Foley. I'm the Director of Multifamily Programs here with Move for Hunger. I do have some housekeeping for everybody. If you have questions, if you have any wonderful stories about Move for Hunger, please put it in the chat, or you can also put it in the Q&A section underneath the all of the little Zoom settings there. You can find that. I'd love to see where everyone's calling in from. So if you have an association, property management company, vendor, tell us who you're with and where you're coming from. I know it's afternoon here on the East Coast where we're actually located for Move for Hunger, but I know we have some West Coast friends. Maybe we even have some Canadians that are calling in. So give us a shout. I do also want to put out there that we are doing a wonderful fundraiser today. Today is the last day of Hunger Action Month. And to do so, obviously, we're having this wonderful webinar to share some really fun stories and have a discussion about hunger in the US. But we also are doing a fundraiser sponsored by Chadwell. So if you see this link right here, go.moveforhunger.org/do-good. You click it, you donate $25, and you will receive a free koozie. Woo! And also a little round of applause for myself. So if you have questions, I'll be putting that in the chat box as well intermittently. If you have questions, just shoot me over a message. I want to also just kind of give some kudos to our partners on the page right over here. Without them, we would not be able to do half of what we're doing in any local community. So, you know, from transport assistance to actual food drives, fundraisers, these partners do it all, and we want to thank you. We also want to thank the dedication and passion for environmental, social, and governance issues, which we will kind of talk about today, you know, that are dealing and are present here within the U.S. Without partners like our association partners on the screen today here, you know, we couldn't do anything without them. So, yeah, nice little shout outs. We got some shout outs in the chat. Hello from Court, lots of Court people. We got Pillar Properties. We got Morgan in the building. Hello, Chicagoland, I see you. But welcome again. And let's get on with the show, everybody. Who's ready? I wish I knew how to use this wonderful, there we go. There it is. We're going through tech issues today, guys. I'd like to introduce everyone to our moderator, Pete Regulis, as well as our wonderful executive director, Adam Lowy. Pete has worked for Court Business Services, a company that helps business and individuals, you know, transition, and has been one of our longtime supporters here at Move for Hunger. Court helps bring the non-perishable items from the properties to the local food banks. And Pete's role as the VP of National Accounts, he's been an advocate for Move for Hunger to anybody and everybody in the apartment industry. He's a motivational speaker with the Apartment All-Stars, and event MC, teacher, motivational speaker, award winner. He does it all. He co-authored the Apartment All-Stars Complete Guide to Leasing Apartments and served as a contributing author of Wall-to-Wall Multifamily, Wall-to-Wall Multifamily Tips. Of course, many of you all may know Pete, and his colleagues in the multifamily housing industry call him Dr. of Fun. So I'm going to bring him right on here. There he is. And then we also have Adam Lowy, who's our New Jersey native, Springsteen fan, ASU Sun Devil for life. After years of seeing so much food being wasted, when people move, Adam decided to create Move for Hunger and take action. But I'll allow Adam to really actually tell his story a little bit more in detail, and Adam should be coming on now. Again, I want to thank you all and, you know, welcome Pete and Adam to the stage.
All right, Bridget, thank you for the great introduction. Adam, you ready to roll?
Let's do this, Pete. Great to see you again.
All right, listen, I'm going to give you a hard multi-part question right off the top. What's the current state of hunger in America? And with that, we talk about food insecurity. So weave that into your answer, and then finish up with how is Move for Hunger going to make a difference in the state of hunger in America? So Adam, you're on stage.
You laid it all on me hard as promised, Pete. So food insecurity really means not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. We think about that term as hunger more generically. Currently today, there are more than 42 million Americans that are considered food insecure. This number has increased just over the past 18 months since the pandemic started. Prior to COVID-19, this number was 37 million. So a pretty significant increase in food insecurity here in the United States. We often think of the United States as, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but here you have people struggling. It's not just the stereotypical people, the homelessness, people in inner cities that you typically think about when you think about hunger, but it's people that are affected in virtually every community. It's our friends, our neighbors, those that are struggling to make difficult choices between paying for their rent or health insurance or housing, or put food on their table for their kids and their families. Those that were being hit hardest before the pandemic are being hit hardest again now. And we also saw an increase of those that are visiting food banks by 40% since the pandemic started. So people visiting for food banks for the very first time never thought they'd be in these circumstances. People who used to make financial donations, contributions to the food bank, needing these services themselves. So hunger really has grown quite significantly. And I'm grateful that we are here today, the final day of Hunger Action Month, to really shed a light on this really important challenge that our country faces.
Adam, what you said there, the people making donations in the past are now in line. I've heard that before. That kind of just park on that for a minute. Wow. So Adam, it's for me and for obviously for you, Move for Hunger is more than a charity. It's more than a good cause. It's truly a movement, right? I know you have over 2,700 properties in multifamily that are part of the program. Talk to us about your plans to grow and what the possibilities are for changing food insecurity and hunger in America through what you're doing.
Absolutely. We started Move for Hunger 12 years ago with moving companies, and our multifamily program launched about 4 years ago. We actually piloted the program with 8 properties in Seattle in partnership with the Washington Multifamily Housing Association. Shout out to WMPA, who was a great partner from the very beginning. And what we saw was when residents were leaving, very oftentimes they would leave food behind. They didn't know what to do with that food. So we started asking individuals if they wanted to donate that food when they moved out, making the move out experience more sustainable, more socially responsible, reducing waste. By the way, food waste is one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. Number 3, actually, when you think about methane going into the atmosphere, and 35% of food produced in the United States ends up in landfills. So we've now grown from 8 properties essentially to more than 2,700 today. And in doing so, we're partnering with not just the large portfolios like Equity Residential and Cortland and Avalon Bay, but also some of the regional and smaller property management companies as well, really all across the United States. And the goal is, when we think about creating real, lasting, sustainable change, it's not just to do something charitable one time, but it's to change the process. And if we can get every property out there to think, hey, our residents are supposed to donate their food when they move, and we've got a process that facilitates this, that doesn't create extra work, and partners like Court and many others that are supporting this to actually get the food to the food banks, then it's just a home run all the way around. And that's really what we're building now. Our property management partners this year already have delivered more than 85,000 pounds of food to food banks and pantries alone.
That's amazing. So if we could take it from 2,700, I'm going to throw out a number. We take it to 20,000 properties. That would change food insecurity in America. Is that a fair statement?
100%. I mean, again, we're doing 85,000 pounds of food with 2,700 properties. That's not much, and many of them just signed on, so they haven't even collected food yet. So the quicker we scale, the more impact that we're going to be able to have. And the beauty of that is then it just kind of rolls upon itself, right? It continues to almost snowball because these properties compete within themselves. I know we've got Cindy Claire on the call today, and it's been really great to see how these properties are competing with each other, even within their own portfolios, to see who can collect the most food for their communities. But also residents really want to live in socially responsible places. So it's not just about getting residents to move out. Certainly we want them to stay. We want to engage them with charitable activities, food drives, fundraisers, special events, the whole time that they're living in these properties. And Move for Hunger's made it really easy to really facilitate those charitable interactions.
Yeah, I think one thing you said there was, let's just change how we naturally operate. Let's just stop wasting the food. Let's get it to a spot and get it to a food bank. I mean, that's just our normal, like they made a change years ago in recycling. People started putting it in a recycle bin.
Yep.
Let's just stop wasting food. Okay, I'm listening, Adam. I'm taking notes, man. I got you. I'm feeling it. You started to talk about it, and you and I've talked about it before. Why do people want to do good? Just park there for a second and talk about that.
I mean, people want to and should do good for a few different reasons, right? The most obvious is it feels good. Doing good, helping someone else, in my opinion, is one of the most selfish things you can do, because the feeling you get when helping another person is pretty much incomparable to anything else on the planet. I love helping people, and I love waking up with Move for Hunger and figuring out ways to help people. But from a strictly business standpoint, there's also a lot of really smart reasons to participate not only in Move for Hunger, but other socially good ventures and activities. We talked about residents wanting to live places that are socially responsible. How are you getting that message out there? Employees wanting to work at socially good companies that care about the environment, that care about sustainability. So from a recruitment and retention standpoint, it's actually a really powerful tool. That connection to the community that you're making. You're more than just a property out there. You are doing things that actually matter in the place where you work, where you live, and you're making a difference. And certainly there's some PR aspects to these things too, right? Whether you're getting loud on social media or you're attracting some actual traditional media in the work that you're doing, it's all good. There are so many reasons to get involved with things like Move for Hunger, especially right now while it is still Hunger Action Month. And at the end of the day, people are going to be receiving food, which is ultimately what our goal is.
Well, Adam, this is great. I'm going to ask each of the panelists later in the panel. I'm going to ask you a similar question, because you got me fired up now, and I want to figure out, what can the audience do tomorrow? No, forget tomorrow. This afternoon, what could they do differently to make a difference? Many of us just sit here and go, "Yeah, I should do something," but what could they do right now, Adam?
There are a lot of ways to get involved. Number one, today, if you're not working with us already, join us, sign up, get your property involved with Move for Hunger. We want to work with you. Second, if you're already involved, or maybe you don't have the power to make that decision today, it still is Hunger Action Month. Consider making a donation. Go.moveforhunger.org/do good. Make that donation today. Support this cause. It's really easy, and those dollars will ultimately translate into our ability to feed more people. And finally, help us by collecting food. Let's collect food from your residents moving out. Let's organize a food drive. The holiday season is coming up. And not just during the holidays. We want to organize food drives year round, because people are hungry and struggling year round. I think the more properties we have involved, the more of this industry that takes action and mobilizes with Move for Hunger, ultimately, we're going to be able to feed more people. So we're very excited. And those are all things you can do today.
I'm going to add one more to it, because we have hundreds of people on this right now. Take this recording that you're going to get and share it with people, right? Some of this is just getting the word out, because people don't realize how important this is. So get the word out. And Adam, we got to get a goal for, you're at 2,700 properties. Let's get to 12,700 by the end of next year. We can do that, right? Can't we do that?
We can do that. We can do that. If everyone on this call today share this with other portfolios, with other property management companies, it doesn't matter if they are competitors, it doesn't matter what market they are in. We are all doing this together. We are one industry creating impact, feeding families together. I challenge you, go out there and talk about Move for Hunger and help us grow that number to 12,700 properties, Pete.
Yeah, if you get to know Adam, you can't help but be inspired when he's in the room, and even comes across on the computer here. So Adam, thank you. Stick around for this panel, because I'm sure there's going to be questions. But to you and your team for building this. So I think it's time to switch gears, and I want to bring on, now, more than a sponsor, I want to bring on Bert Ray from Chadwell. Bert, you I mean, I just want to say one thing about Chadwell, whether it's involved with Move for Hunger, Chadwell's been a great partner in this industry for a long time. So thank you for being here, and I'll turn the stage over to you for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. No, we're very excited to be new partners with Move for Hunger. We definitely recognize, one, we have a responsibility as leaders within this amazing organization and industry to kind of step up and raise the awareness of food insecurity. And we're excited to be a part of it, and just want to just really promote this opportunity. $25 donation. That $25 donation equals 63 meals. So that's 63 opportunities to impact folks right in your local communities. And as a thank you, we're going to send you our Chadwell Supply Move for Hunger koozie. So really urge each of you to take advantage of the opportunity. Call for action right now for the, I think it's going to midnight this evening. But donate now. Make that impact for those 63 individual meals that you can provide for just that $25. So thanks, Pete.
All right, Bert, stick with us because you're on the panel too. Stick with us. So, guys, I am really excited about this panel. We're going to cover a few critical topics. We're going to answer your chat questions, and then I want to wrap up. I want to have some takeaways. So, panelists, I'm kind of giving you a heads up. I want to get at least one takeaway from each of you, something that the audience can do today or tomorrow, because this is Hunger Action Month. We're gonna take action. So let me just do some quick introductions of our panelists. We've got Lisa Trezine here, the co-founder of the Department All-Stars. And Lisa, whenever I introduce you, I say this, and I mean it, you're one of the smartest people in this industry, and you're my mentor, so thank you for being here. And you can't hear it, but the audience is going crazy for you. They're just screaming and yelling. Cindy Clare, Chief Operating Officer at Bell Partners. Cindy was also the past chair of the National Apartment Association. I just want to take a minute and say you did a fantastic job, Cindy. Unbelievable. And if we voted again, I'd vote you back in. So thank you for being here. Where's Thanks, Nicolette? Steve. Oh, Nicolette's here. Nicolette Yaze. Nicolette is the VP and head of ESG at Goldman Sachs Asset Management. We were really happy to have somebody here representing the asset management side. But I want to hear more about ESG, okay? I looked it up a little bit, but you got to tell us a little bit more about why that's important.
Got you
and Bert,
covered.
We already introduced you, man. You're here and ready to go. So let's get this panel started. Lisa, you get first question, okay?
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. You're an educator, a motivator. You speak with the Department All-Stars, obviously sharing that motivation. But why are you passionate about this cause and about Move for Hunger?
And this is something that I don't always share with people, but I grew up in a household that had food insecurity. We did not have the money for food. And most days I did not have breakfast. I did not have lunch. I would go to school and my friends would be having lunch and I would sit with them, but I wouldn't eat and I was hungry. And we typically just had dinner, and dinner for us, there were 4 of us. Dinner was typically 4 chicken legs and maybe a can of corn, split between 4 people. And it was very difficult to focus on schoolwork, to really do anything. So I know what it's like. I know exactly what these people go through. I'm not just saying that I sympathize, I empathize because I was there. And one of the things that I did as soon as I was old enough to babysit is I took my babysitting money and I bought food. So that's why cause of hunger is very near and dear to my heart, because I know how tough it is growing up not having food, and I know how hard it is for a parent not to be able to put food on the table. So that is one of my main reasons I want to help with Move for Hunger.
Guys, we could stop right there and just start writing checks to Move for Hunger, because that's whenever we put a face to it, right? It's people that are hungry that you don't think. I mean, I didn't know that, Lisa. I never thought that that you might have had food insecurity as a child. That's wow. Cindy, I'm gonna come to you next. Gosh, you're the COO of Bell Partners. You're so busy. I know your schedule, right? I mean, you're so super busy. So, and you sit on the board for Move for Hunger. So you must be committed to this. Tell us why. Tell us your story.
So I am definitely committed to this. And I think it is something that, as Lisa said, it's such a basic need. And we provide one of those basic needs by providing homes for people. If we can do something to help provide food as well and do it in our communities, it doesn't take a lot to make a difference. And one of the things I love about Move for Hunger is it's something that all of our communities can do. And it makes a big difference. And it's something that is, quite frankly, easy for them to do and for our residents to do. And they can see the tangible impact of that in their communities. So for me, this was really a no-brainer. And as you know, Pete, I was big on giving back when I was chair of NAA. And so finding a way to do this ongoing, both at Bell and for the industry, I think is critical to what we do. We need to be good corporate citizens as well as be providers of homes.
Cindy, that's great. And I know, and you might talk about it later, but I've heard the stories from the different employees you have that work on the properties and how passionate they've been about it and how it's made a difference in their lives. So thank you. So Nicolette, I was psyched when I saw you were going to be on the panel because sometimes we do these things and we don't have representation from the ownership group, right? And the ownership group obviously makes a lot of decisions. And then your title is ESG. So just talk to us a little bit about what brings you here today.
Yeah, sure. So I'm thrilled to be here today and feel a little inadequate in terms of my fellow panelists' background, but think we found an interesting angle here. So I'm happy to share it. So I work at Goldman Sachs in our real estate investing group, and I head up ESG, which stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. Essentially what I do is support our business, our acquisitions and asset managers on the real estate investing teams in looking for ways to infuse either environmental or social programming that makes our standard operations better and more impactful. So on the environmental side, it's around understanding how to reduce maybe our carbon footprint or our reliance on fresh water or understanding physical climate risk. And on the social side, it's all around enhancing the communities in which we invest, engaging our tenants in meaningful opportunities, creating that sense of place that someone else mentioned, understanding health and well-being, both for our tenants and the physical environments that they're in, but also, again, for the local community that we're also a part of, and looking for creative partnerships to be able to execute that at scale across our entire portfolio. And I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that, but that's one of the reasons why I ended up here. This is a very easy solution that's very scalable. Is a no-brainer, as somebody else said, and it's very hard to say no to something like this.
Nicolette, I'm going to go out of order because we're getting a chat in. They're asking the question to you: is there a challenge, or what pushback do you get when you talk to somebody in a C-suite, maybe of a fee management company or your managers, right? What pushback are you getting?
To be honest, I get pushback with some things. This one was a no-brainer. So I would challenge anyone that gives you pushback to give you some really solid rationale as to why this shouldn't be done. I would say, from a business case perspective, as I said, this really, it has so many positive outcomes, but and positive externalities, and the kind of obvious ones are putting food on the table and getting it to distributors. But from a business standpoint, I think others have mentioned this, strengthening the local communities in which you invest just makes for a better investment. Retaining tenants and attracting new ones through a differentiated amenity just makes for a better investment. And so I don't think this was a hard sell for all of those reasons. I guess if you have a real stickler, you can also push back. The food waste is just horrible as it is, but it also creates other problems. It's unsightly, it's smelly, it creates a whole nother set of issues for property managers to have to deal with. And so this operationally just really supports the property as well. So I haven't had that issue with this, but if you find somebody that's against it, send them my way. I'll help you sell the idea.
And Pete, this is Pete. I would echo that. We have rolled this out on our entire portfolio, and about 70% of our portfolio is third-party managed with outside owners, and we've not had one owner push back. It's not a hard sell, and the cost to join is minimal, quite frankly. And the feedback from your employees, from your residents, from our owners. Many of our owners are very focused, as Nicolette's talking about, particularly institutional clients. This is a big deal, and they want to be part of the community, and they want to give back. And it's such an easy way, and quite frankly, not very expensive to do. And residents and associates can participate. And I think that's what helps build community and make you part of the community that you're in. As Nicolette said, you're investing in these communities with your real estate assets. Why not invest in the people in the community by giving back from a food standpoint?
Yeah, I would just show them this recording or send them pictures of these ladies. They'll change their mind. Bert, I'm always interested in bringing everyone together, and Move for Hunger does a great job with the apartment associations across the country, right? And to help them motivate and gather more food, get the word out. Now, you kind of represent the suppliers on this call, the supplier partners. What brings Chadwell to the game? Why did you guys decide to join forces with Move for Hunger?
Well, it's really multi, I guess, directional. A big thing is just from the foundation of Chadwell Supply, we're a company that's built with service in mind, all the way down from our owners. Being a family-owned company, our owners give us some directions that are slightly different than a lot of corporate organizations that you may find. So part of that was we feel a very specific need to fulfill a service aspect in the markets that we're present in. So as Chadwell Supply grows, we're working to partner with the local affiliate associations as well as the National Apartment Association. And something like Move for Hunger and the direct local impact fits right in the wheelhouse of what we're trying to do. And then for me personally, I just feel it's a great opportunity to use my position in a position of leadership, both with on the board of directors of my local association, then also as a sales leader in my company, to work to influence, to push that same level of involvement all the way down to each individual associate. Beyond my role with Chadwell Supply, I've had a lifetime as a strength coach and wellness advisor. So personal health and wellness is something that's very near and dear to my heart, and I'm passionate about bringing that personal advancement and improvement. And you can't do that when you're suffering from something as basic as hunger. So I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can in the positions that we have to, one, increase the education, but then push the involvement and work together in a partnership to not only encourage more of the operator folks to get involved, but also more of the suppliers to get involved and really walk hand in hand with this together throughout the country.
Yeah, I will echo that some of my best relationships with the people on this call and around the country have been based on charitable giving and being part of that, right? And not always as a supplier, not always selling something, right? Being part of a mission. It just, Adam mentioned it, doing good really benefits you more than anything else. So suppliers, if you're out there, get motivated, help these properties get signed up, be part of the solution. We definitely appreciate it. So Lisa,
so Pete, one thing is it just make it more important than, we all have a product or service that we're selling, but if we only focus on that product or service, we're really losing a huge opportunity to grow these relationships. And we all recognize that relationship is a key cog in the wheel of driving this growth. So align yourself with your customer base, and Move for Hunger is a perfect opportunity to do that.
Great. So Lisa, in the title of the webinar, we say fighting hunger could be your best amenity. Well, what do we mean by that?
One of the things that I have seen when I've visited communities that participate in Move for Hunger, and the only reason I know that is because maybe they have the bag sitting out or something like that. I have seen a lot of them not talk about it in the leasing process. I think sometimes we have a tendency with Move for Hunger on the leasing side to say, oh, well, this is an amenity that we offer when they move out. And we need to sell this in the leasing process because, the majority of our renters these days are millennials and Gen Zs. And millennials and Gen Zs make their decisions for a lot of their purchases based on if the company has charitable endeavors, what their social initiatives are, things like that. And they also expect companies to be extraordinarily transparent about who they work with and what they're doing. So we need to make sure that when we roll this initiative out in our organizations, that it becomes part of the leasing process. So our leasing professionals, start talking about, and by the way, we partner with Move for Hunger. And let me explain to you a little bit about that. So I think one of the most important things we can do is begin to sell it to our prospects as an amenity. I mean, who needs an oversized Scrabble board? Everybody's got one of those in every fancy high rise in every city that I've been. Bag the Scrabble board and do Move for Hunger. All right. Make yourself stand out, make yourself be unique. Right now we have 2,700 properties. Our goal, I guess, according to this call, is 12,700. So you're still going to be setting yourself apart, but you're also going to be putting pressure on your competitors to sign up for Move for Hunger. And, we're all in this together. So let's start selling this to our competitors, selling this to our prospects. It's not a move out amenity, it's an amenity.
Nicolette, I'm gonna go a little. Come to you. Can you amplify that message? Does that ring true to you as representing the ownership side?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sitting here nodding my head in agreement at everything Lisa said. I mean, I think that was one of the most attractive, in addition to scale, which I had mentioned, and Move for Hunger can really solve for that. You can scale across your portfolio in less than a month or two, depending on how large, but we have a pretty large portfolio of thousands of units and 40 plus cities. I think we launched in March, and by May 1st, we were live and active everywhere. And so scale is huge there. I mean, we definitely hope that one day this will not be a differentiated amenity. We hope this is just standard, par for the course. Like, people would look at the building weird if it didn't have a Scrabble board. We hope that it would be weird if Move for Hunger wasn't offered. And so hopefully this will be a standardized amenity. We're also, in terms of this idea of selling, selling to the residents is key, but it's also good sales in the community. When the community sees the property's logo and that it's involved and that it's taking its responsibility as a member of the community seriously, that goes a long way. And frankly, like, going back to the cost benefit here, I mean, you couldn't buy that type of advertisement for your building in the community at a better price. And so this really checks off a lot of those boxes in terms of all the benefits that you get out of it for very little. And I think the sweet spot from a business perspective is that you're really bringing together everybody's core competencies. As an owner, we have access and control. As for Adam and his team and Bridget, they have control and access to these trucking networks. And so we're kind of taking a very complex problem, and by together just joining hands or solving it in a very simple way. It's actually almost like silly how simple it is, even though the problem is so thorny. And so, that's how we view it as well.
And what came to mind there for me is we're always looking to not be the evil landlord, right? And this is just another message that we could share. I mean, I think if the public really knew all the good work that the apartment industry does, they'd be blown away. And Lisa, you're right. We need to promote it more. Cindy, building sense of community, maybe a little bit of focus on employees. What has this meant to the employee group at Bell?
So I think it's, it does build a sense of community, and Lisa hit on all of the selling features, and it's also a retention tool. It's not just about people moving out. We certainly give out the bags when people move out, but we do throughout the year activities where we do fundraisers for food, and we put boxes, and it creates sense of community. It creates a great sense of pride with our associates that they can participate in something and give back to their communities. And have all of this, Bell this year, we have a Bell Gives Back Day, and Move for Hunger is our national charity for the year. And so everything we did this year for Bell Gives Back Day was related to food. Now, that some of our properties did Move for Hunger drives, others went to food banks, but we did something related to food, and they can look at what they're doing every day in their apartment communities and know that they're making a difference in people's lives when it comes to food. And then to have a Bell Gives Back Day where we all did something together. So it's a team building event for us. And we're able to create that sense of community among our teams as well as at our properties. And for us, because we're a national company of properties across the country, it's a way for people to go, wow, we can do this everywhere. So for us, we are all about connection with our teams, with our associates, with our residents. And this is a really easy way. Nicolette keeps saying it, and I will keep saying it. This is so easy to do. And for me, that was really important because I want our teams to be able to rally around this and not be something that it is a burden. And it's not a burden, and they love doing it. And we've, Bridget probably can give you the numbers, but I know last year we had like 35,000 pounds of food that we collected at our properties. I mean, that's a big, that's a big deal. And we want those numbers to grow. And we have contests and they all want to know who's in first place. So I think that those are all things that help you with not only retention of your residents, but it's something your associates can see and that they can rally around as well. And it helps retention there.
How many times did we say it's easy, right? And scale, and we can do it everywhere. So do me a favor, guys, in the chat, everyone just type in it's easy. Move for Hunger is easy. And that way I want you to feel it. I want you to believe it. And Bert, that leads me to you. Why don't you tell, first of all, let me just say this. I know exactly how it works because my court teams do it every day all across the country, but just walk us through, how does it work? How does that can of food get from someone's apartment to the food bank?
Well, again, we just got to repeat, it's super easy. Move for Hunger has created a basic 3-step process that once you've got communication from your resident, they've got bags they want to fill up, they bring them to the office. We're looking for a minimum of 10 bags for pickup. So once and I think the average, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's an average of 20 bags usually. So 10 bags is super easy. You fill up the 10 bags. You can you can make a phone call or you can send an email to pickup@moveforhunger.org. And as soon as that email is received, there's I think we've got something like 1,000 folks in the network for working with pickup. Pete Court, us with Chadwell Supply, we're folks like us and the volunteers. We're going to come and pick it up, and we're going to transport that stuff all the way to just your local food bank. It's not moving outside of your community. And that's critically important to this as far as communicating that piece to your residents and also to your vendor partners, that this is impacting your neighborhood. So 3-step process: collect it, call us, and then we're going to pick it up. So it's that easy.
Nicolette, did we say easy? We did say easy, right? She wanted to make sure we say it's easy.
I think we got it, but
Okay,
it is
good.
true. I mean, one thing I'll just add for all of the property management companies on the line, if you're owned by an institution, we're getting increased pressure externally to find these easy solutions, and there's really not many of them. And so if you want to look like the hero, if you want to look like the innovator, if you want to look like the leader, now is the time, because after this call, this is going to be a standard amenity. So you should jump in quick and be a leader in this space so that you are looking forward leaning to the ownership who's really under a lot of fire to figure out ESG. And this one, like we've gone through, checks all the boxes and has some really powerful stories behind them.
Okay, time for I think we got about 5 minutes left, guys. So this is the lightning round. Lisa, you're going to go first. I'm going to tee you up. What I'm looking for from each panelist, is the idea, something, a takeaway that the folks on this call and the people that listen to the recording, something they can do today or tomorrow. Lisa, give us one of your brilliant ideas.
I came up with more than one.
Oh, good.
Okay, so add a tagline for your property that says da 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 da, a Move for Hunger community. Put it in your signature line, a Move for Hunger community. If you put on, if you've got a team member that's, put contests in with your team members, and you know how team members like to have a casual day, get some Move for Hunger t-shirts that are co-branded with your property and wear them on Saturdays or Sundays to help get that message out there. And you know how they have those badges on restaurant doors that says, read about us on Yelp. How about a sticker that Move for Hunger gives us that we can put on that says, we're a Move for Hunger community? How's that?
That's pretty good. I like it. Let's give her a round of applause out there. Okay. I love it, Lisa. She's always got great ideas. Okay. Let's see, Cindy, what do you think? What's your takeaway?
I think you use this with both your residents and your associates. Whether, as I said, I gave you an idea earlier when I said we did a Bell Gives Back Day and Move for Hunger was part of that. We are using it. I'm not giving away secrets, but in our officers meeting this year, we're going to be doing something for Move for Hunger. Resident events, have a Move for Hunger box and have everybody bring, a box or a can of food to come to the event. I mean, there are plenty of ways to continually put this out in the forefront and get not only your residents involved, but your associates involved. And I think that's what it takes. And I would also say, ask your clients, ask your owners. To Nicolette's point, I can't imagine somebody turning you down for doing this.
Yeah. Sydney, too, I think if you're we do a lot of reach out to major corporations near where the property is. What a good message. Instead of going in and talking about the apartment community, talk about Move for Hunger. And would you want to partner with us? You want to join us on an event? And next thing you know, you're in tight with them. I also love the, you got to bring food to get into any event at our place. Yeah, you got to bring food. You just got to bring food. Yeah. So I think that's a great idea. Nicolette, what do you have for us?
I would say as an owner, one, shame. Why aren't you doing this? And challenge them into telling you why. There is not a good reason. It's easy. And then two, we've built this into our standard operating processes. So there's just no even thinking twice about it. During every new acquisition, our team has a due diligence checklist that includes some very kind of standard things. Get an engineering report, make sure it's structurally sound. Call Move for Hunger and set up your account. I mean, that is literally inserted into a standard DD process now, and will ensure that this goes on at every property. And by the way, our instruction too is, and if we sell that property in the future, make sure you make friends with the new owner as well. And so hopefully this catches fire and continues on.
No, that's great. And we had a question in the chat. One group signed up a portfolio of properties, and the energy was high, and then it faded a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and just jump in and answer that one. For us, my organization, and for many of us, we had to get 1, 2, 3, 4 people that are passionate about it, that wanted to be champions. Someone's got to lead this. Someone's got to come up with the creative ideas. Someone's got to email Lisa Trezine and say, I'm stuck. I need an idea at my property. And she'll give you one for free. She'll give you the idea. You're going to reach out to me, to Bert, to somebody. Find another partner, go to Chadwell, go to Court, but you have to have somebody with the energy to drive it. It won't just go on its own. I mean, it's easy, but darn it, it's not that easy. You have somebody that believes in it. So hopefully that answered your question. But if we didn't, reach out to Bridget, and we'll join a small team, and we'll get your communities back re-engaged. Bert, we're running out of time, but give me one last idea.
Man, for me, it's just a call to action. And when you first kicked it to me, starting this with the advertisement about the koozie, it really had me thinking about the impact that we can make today. And if everyone on this call takes the opportunity to take advantage of the new trend, which is fasting, which I think is really just skipping meals, to be honest with you. But if you were to just take the next meal that you plan to go out and buy, and instead of going and buying that meal, you went and contributed that money, that little bit of money towards, there you go on the Move for Hunger website, go to the Donate Now button, click that Donate Now button and drop that 15, 20. You make it $25 in the next few hours, you're going to get a koozie as a thank you for that. But my call for action right now is to take that step and take a stance and move the needle for hunger and make that financial contribution. It's as little a contribution as you want to make is going to be impactful. So just take part and then keep pushing the conversation. Drive this conversation to your other suppliers, increase the network so that we can expand this and blow it up and end hunger insecurity among our communities.
Well, panel, we're gonna wrap it up here. I wanted to just offer my one idea was, so always think about it at a property. If I had a resident group, a resident council, a little mini Facebook group just for that property that talks about food insecurity, I'd really be interested in that group kind of leading some creative ideas. What we probably find out, there are more people on that property with food insecurity than you're not aware of. And maybe you can help those people literally right there on that property, but get some people to help you champion it, specifically residents, right? That would be, I think would be helpful. Guys, your time here has been invaluable. I know we're recording this. We have hundreds of people on now. We're going to spread it to thousands around the country. We're going to get to 12,700 properties by this time next year. We've got the challenge out there. We've told you that it's easy. We've given you links to just check out the information. We've given you links to donate. Now we're just asking, take some action, right? Don't hang up from this call without do something, okay? So Bridget, I'm going to turn it back over to you, but we're going to wrap it up here from the panelists. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you to my wonderful panelists. Again, thank you to everybody who has either, donated today or looked into joining. And of course, we gotta love my tech issues today. I don't know what's my deal, but I wanted to remind everyone, these are the 3 things that you can do. Join the multifamily program, make a donation today, or sign up for a food drive. Today's conversation, we really talked about why doing good in your community matters. And, to your point, Pete, I just would love to have everybody this afternoon talk about Move for Hunger with a colleague, with a friend, with a family. That's my call to action for everybody. And again, thank you for making this wonderful webinar happen and joining us today. Like Pete said, it will be recorded and it will be sent out via email to all of you who have registered. Thank you again, everybody, and have a wonderful day.